guys? I got a good question from our buddy JJ Olivares, who's having trouble getting submissions. He asks, in many occasions when I roll, I don't feel like my mind goes as fast as I would like it to. I feel like I don't see the moves and submissions that might be available for me. What do you think I should do to be able to see more moves and submissions while I roll? So JJ, first off, thanks for the question, brother. And I think the problem that you're having, at least this was the problem that I've had over the years, it's not about seeing more moves and submissions, it's about seeing less. So let me share an experience that I had as a blue belt, and then I'll share sort of a technique with you that you can use in your training to help become a little bit more submission oriented, or at least help you focus on certain techniques. So when I was a blue belt moving into my purple belt, my coach came to me and said, listen, you're positionally dominant, but you're not submitting anyone. And we both knew this. I could sweep and I could pass very well, but in tournaments I would win on points. I wasn't stalling, but I just couldn't submit people most of the time. And in the gym it was the same thing. I could sweep, I could pass, but I just couldn't get the submission a lot of times. And so we knew we needed to work on that. So my coach said, listen, you need to become more submission oriented, you need to finish. That's what your goal is, to get to purple belt. And again, belts don't matter, but at the same time, it was a big step for me. So I was really focused on it. I even went to the store and bought a purple sweatband that I would put on my ankle. So when I would train, I would always look down at my ankle, and if I was maybe having a tough moment on the mat, I would look down and see that purple sweatband, and kind of would be a reminder of what I was working towards. Silly, but whatever. So I was a man on a mission. I had an objective, I had a goal that I was gonna go after. I was set. The only problem was that quickly led to more frustration, because what happened was when I got back to the gym, I would get to these dominant positions and I was still in the same boat. I was still in the same problem. I was like there, but I'm like, I know submissions are here, right? I know I should be able to submit from side control mount or back mount, but I can't. And in my case, the problem was I had too many options. I liken the situation to sort of, if you've ever been really, really hungry before, and then you go to a restaurant and you get there, you sit down, your stomach's at knots, and you're just thinking, I want some food, I just need a meal. And then you get this menu and it's like 6 pages long and it's got so many options that you're overwhelmed and you're not really able to zero in on just one thing, right? That was the situation that I was in. I had so many options on the plate that I wasn't just really sure what to do, right? I wasn't able to focus on just one or the other. Because as a blue belt, you have the ability to kind of play around a lot more. And I had been experimenting. I had been on the sort of proverbial technical buffet line, just nibbling a little bit, but I didn't have anything substantial. So, went back to wrestling. So in wrestling, we were told, you need 3 things in wrestling to be good. You need a takedown, an escape or reversal, or a pinning combination. You need those 3 things, that's all you need. Because if you do those 3 things so well that the person can't stop them, you win wrestling matches. Everything else is icing on the cake. And so this is what I started to do. I was like, okay, I need to go back to the gym, but when I step back on the mats next time, I need to have a focus. I need to have a couple of techniques that I need to be really focused on. So what I did was I thought about the submissions that would work best for me from the positions that I was getting to. So most of us kind of have an idea of what we're good with, right? And I went back to my A game, and I was focused on the positions and the techniques that I was already decent with, and just zeroed in on those. And at the time, that was kimuras and arm bars from side control. That was my focus. So get back to the gym, and then I go on the hunt for those movements. And what I mean by hunt is, a lot of times people see techniques, but they never actually execute. They just kind of let them go, and then they go back to just playing around with whatever happens. If a hunter goes hunting, if it's deer season, what are they hunting? Right? So when you step on the mats, you don't want to forget about those techniques. You want to go hunting after them. You want to be very specific and go after those movements instead of just dabbling around with everything else. If you're trying to see those moves and submissions, you need to focus on them. Because there's something really, really incredible about when you step on the mat, or when you do anything really in life, and you have a single-minded focus on something. Your body, your mind, everything's just focused on just making that one thing happen. Your body just figures out a way to make it happen. And this is what happened for me. Is I stepped on the mat, I had my focus, I was going to go after these couple of submissions, these handful of submissions that I had picked for myself. And within about a month and a half, I started all of a sudden catching these things in weird angles, funky transitions, in ways that I didn't think about before, and they started to open up other avenues for submissions that I didn't think about previously. Again, because I was so focused on just that. So JJ, my advice to you, brother, would be to make your menu smaller, right? Because in the age that we live in, as far as like jiu-jitsu and the internet goes, there's so much stuff. You could get up every day and go down a different technical rabbit hole and never get to the end. There's so much stuff out there. So I would suggest that you talk to your instructor, zero in a couple of techniques and say, these are the things I'm going to work on. These are the submissions, or these are the moves I'm really going to focus on. And then when you step on the mat, after you've made that menu smaller, right, go on the hunt. Go looking after those moves. Don't forget about them. right? Because again, information is just information. If you don't put it into execution, it's useless. So go after those techniques and make them happen. And I guarantee you, it'll take a little bit of hard work. Again, most things in jiu-jitsu do, right? But after some hard work and some consistency with that, you'll have one of those aha moments where things click, right? Where everything just kind of falls into place. And all of a sudden you'll find yourself hitting these techniques that you've been looking for. And then a lot of times you'll find that other avenues will open up because of that.